Hi, my name's Kathy Utley, and I am the publisher, writer, researcher, editor, and sort of content creator. Everything that is the Utley Post. My daughter and my son have and do contribute. They'll do more in the future. It's just that Jen's finishing up some college, and Brian is has a day job. So uh, and he but Brian is my historian. He lives out in Vermont with his partner Tim, and this is a history reference because he's my historian. I call him my Green Mountain Boys because those were the what the militia was called in Vermont back in the day. I don't even know when, but my son could explain everything to you, and lots of history in Vermont. Beautiful state too, and they're very close to Montreal. I live here in Colorado Springs with my daughters, and my oldest daughter does live here with me, and she's moving shortly, but she's in transition. And my other daughter lives here, and she does social work for a family mental health center here. So, and all of us at one time or another have lived in Minneapolis. Brian lived there the longest, and that's where he met Tim. Tim grew up there. And then Sarah moved there, and my daughter Sarah, and she lived there. And then my daughter Jenny went and lived in Edina, and my husband and I decided to go up too and be with all the grandkids. And we lived there for about 2.5 years, and we lived in South Minneapolis. Um, Unfortunately, or fortunately, not too far away from where um, Alex Preddy was shot. We lived off of Eat Street, not too far from that Glam Doll donuts place. I'm telling you, you can't. It's just bizarre. My granddaughter currently still lives there, so we have this connection to the Twin Cities. So anyway, I do a piece called it's a section of the Utley Post, but it's called "Things That Happen in Colorado." And I recently posted an article, a post about the fact I'd seen in the news that ICE was sending their folks over with the U.S. Olympic team um, to provide diplomatic security, whatever that means. And apparently, the mayor of Milan, Italy, which is where the Olympics are taking place out of, Winter Olympics 2026, said no, thank you. We don't want you here. And so, from what I understand, this is a follow up to that because I did kind of check in to see, well, because I know a friend of mine is the team captain of the U.S. figure skating team, and she had sent some things here for the grandkids. And I was texting her as she was boarding her plane, and so they're on their way. And the opening ceremonies are tomorrow night. So anyway, this is going to be my quick little news story. I am going to try to use a script and try to stick to it this time. But so we do have ice at the 2026 Winter Olympics. I'm also at the end going to tell you how you can watch them if you don't already know. And for those that you don't know, I live in Colorado Springs, and the U.S. or the Olympic uh, headquarters are here in Colorado Springs, including a lot of the training facilities and stuff like that. So as we look toward the opening of the ceremony of the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan and Cortina on Friday, February 6th. Oh, wait a minute. That is not tomorrow night. That's next week. Never mind. Um, in Milan, there's been growing public attention on the presence of U.S. Homeland Security personnel at the games. Apparently, this isn't the first time they've been there before. So, um, and I'll get into why that would be. But I think because they have such a wonderful reputation here in the United States right now. their reputation precedes them, and apparently Italy doesn't want to have anything to do with them. But, and neither do we. So there's been growing public attention on the presence of U.S. Homeland Security personnel at the games. Today, I want to clarify what's actually happening because in the headlines and the reality are not the same. I'm also getting over a cold. You'll have to excuse me. So, the United States is sending a small team from Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI. This is the investigative branch of ICE. Their role is not immigration enforcement. They are not conducting raids. They are not patrolling Olympic venues. And they have no policing authority on Italian soil. Thank God. HSI's job is narrowly defined. They support the U.S. State Department's diplomatic security service, and that means they help to identify potential transnational threats, things like cyber risks, document fraud. Our president should be familiar with that, or criminal networks that sometimes intersect with large global events. Yeah, like human trafficking. Go figure, right? Oh my God. This is the same interagency support the U.S. has provided in past Olympics. So it's not like there's precedent for this, by the way. Italian officials have been very clear. All security operations remain fully under Italian control. HSI personnel are confined to advisory and analytical roles inside the U.S. diplomatic offices. So they cannot act independently and they cannot enforce U.S. immigration law abroad. Thank God. So why the controversy? Because the name ICE carries political weight, especially after the Minneapolis shooting. So Italian leaders, including the mayor of Milan, have voiced symbolic objections, but the operational reality is far more limited than the rhetoric suggests. So that is my update. Apparently, they're not going to be causing havoc and destroying people's lives like they do here in this country. So how Americans can watch the opening ceremony. Not tomorrow night. Make a note of that. It's on February the 6th. It will be 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Mountain Time on February the 6th. And you can get it on NBC platforms like Peacock, NBCOlympics.com, and the NBC Sports app. Prime time encores on NBC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for those who want to watch later in the evening. So the ceremony will take place at San Siro Stadium in Milan, and with additional satellite celebrations across the Olympic region. So that is my news for today. I don't have anything else other than I wanted to follow up with my story that ICE was going to be there, because to me it seemed like I'd never heard they'd never been there before. So I was like, oh my God, what now? But apparently there's precedence for this. So, if they did good things and did their job, nobody would really even care. But I do think that fiasco in Minneapolis had nothing to do with ICE operations at all. I mean, I think it had to do with, it had nothing to do with immigration, not reform, but, enforcement or anything like that. I think it had to do with spectacle. And I think that whoever came up with this cockamamie idea that cost the lives of two innocent Americans, one who is from here, from Colorado Springs, and the other who was a ICU nurse at the VA hospital in Minneapolis. And I did forget to mention that. I forgot to mention to you in my last video about this, that the VA hospital in Minneapolis is considered to be one of the best in the country. And while we were there, since my husband passed away of COVID in 2020, was treated at the VA hospital until we moved up here to Colorado, where he was he got infected with the COVID virus, and it just ravaged his body, and he died in the ICU unit at the age of 53 on September the 17th, 2020. Literally, I was in a city where, other than my daughter, my two small grandkids, I knew no one. So, that's part of my story. I do have I'm a widow, but I do have a new guy friend who I met at church, the Presbyterian church. And that's weird at my age, but it happens. And he and I do Renaissance fairs, thus the Galadriel outfit in the background, which I am selling. But anyway, that's all I have right now from Colorado Springs. Things that happen in Colorado. My Great Pyrenees barking in the background. But I was going to write a very short news story. There was, unfortunately, a woman hiker who was attacked and killed by a mountain lion. Now it's been several months, so it's not exactly current news. And I got so caught up in the news cycle of what was going on with all this other stuff that I just didn't post it. I kind of wished I had. But that does happen. It's rare, but it happens. And there's more bear sightings for some reason around here. But yeah. So there was something else I was going to say, and now I just forgot. So I'm on some cold medicine. Must be good stuff because I'm starting to wander off. Oh, I'm going to be attending a meeting tonight, and I'll report back to you about that. So the Catholic Church here in Colorado, and I'm guessing across the nation, is really taking the lead on this whole kind of attack on our immigrant families and people that are trying to legally even come into this country. I mean, so Catholic Charities here does provide legal services and other services. They're kind of taking the lead, and I'm going to be there as a layperson, but my assistant pastor is going to try to be there, and the Catholic Church loves to have more denominations and people from the religious community, whether they're priests or nuns or lay people or pastors or deacons, whatever, or just regular folks. And it should be really interesting. There is an organization that's been started by Catholic bishops called You Are Not Alone. And there will be representatives from that organization there tonight. So we're meeting at a Catholic church here in town. So I will let you know how that goes. So anyway, I have nothing else to share. I bid you adieu. Subscribe to whether you're a paid or non-paid subscriber. It's all important. So subscribe to the Daily Post. I also have something called Things That Happen in Colorado, and some of them are funny and some of them are interesting. And unfortunately, if I'd done the mountain lion thing, that would have been tragic. And my son is going to be doing more writing on the rights of persons, because he's really into that whole idea of citizenship and what does it mean to be a citizen and be a person, that kind of thing. And my daughter will be writing more about kind of criminal investigation stuff. So her area of interest is white collar crime. And but we'll see, where that one goes as well. So anyway, thank you so much. Subscribe to the Daily Post. You get a lot more. I also do a fictional piece on there called The Red Horizon about cool people that live 100 years in the future, and Mars is partially terraformed. And it's all about this little boy's spiritual journey. And I think people love it. So anyway, that's a pretty good deal for all that. So anyway, thank you so much. And I will see you on the flip side.